What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Look, I was over here preparing for another amazing episode, but look, I need you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell so that you guys don't miss any of our amazing conversations. Have a new episode coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It's Q Jackson, host of BLK Talk. Yes, I'm back with another amazing episode and an amazing guest. So the guy to my right, my left, your right. You guys have probably seen him on the most recent season of the hit show BMF. You've probably seen him on, Tyler Perry's show, bruh.
Yeah.
Okay. What up, P Valley, right?
So they didn't see me on there because my scene got cut.
That
was my first job ever. My scene got cut.
We'll get into that in just a second. But guys, help me welcome to BLK Talk, Mr. Terry Allen.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
Cue for applause.
Applause. Hey, thank you. I'm clapping myself too.
And see, you got to
applaud yourself.
So a few weeks ago, I was at an event, because we're here in Atlanta, and Atlanta has so many amazing things going on. And I saw this guy. When I tell you clean cut, the outfit was amazing. I'm like, he looks familiar. But the outfit is what got me first. And then come to find out he was somebody that I was familiar with because I've watched the show. And I'm like, we got to make this happen. So for those of you who may be unfamiliar, because the few of you who have not yet watched BMF have not seen his face, but you will very soon, tell us a little bit about you.
Sure, where do I start? Well, born and raised I'm going to say born in Atlanta because you know how Atlanta people be. I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in Duluth, a suburb of Atlanta. I was always an athlete. Started modeling as a kid, something I really enjoyed. So that entertainment aspect was always there, but I didn't really dive into acting until after college. I majored in sports management, so I used to work in the sports industry for a few years. The Harlem Globetrotters, okay, you feel me?
You worked with them.
I worked with them. Go ahead and ask the question. Like, you was hooping? I wasn't.
I was about to say, did you learn something with them tricks?
Nah, they showed me a few things, but I did sales, though. So I was setting up experiences at the shows that we would have in cities. Okay. So I wasn't, actually on the court. But I did hoop with them. We used to hoop every now and then, just little, pickup games or whatever. But did sales for them for a few years until COVID hit. But at that time, I had been dabbling in acting a little bit, going to class, just being interested in the craft and doing extras work and stuff like that. And so once I lost my job with them, I dove deeper into acting, really started falling in love with it. And eventually I was like, yo, here's my basket, all the eggs going in that thing.
Yes.
And since then we've been rocking. That was December of 2020, and now we're here.
Wow. So do you think it was like COVID? Because a lot of us during that time had the opportunity to sit, because for a little bit of time the world was closed. Yeah. A lot of us couldn't. Well, Atlanta was the only place that was open, really.
Right.
But for the most part, when it came to work and things like that, a lot of us were sitting in a space where we couldn't get up and go to work. So we were forced to sit with ourselves and just kind of learn and experience. So do you think that helped to contribute to you deciding to go full-fledged into acting?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I'm a very big believer in that God is sovereign over every situation. So I'm not saying that COVID happened so that I could have an acting career, but I think that positive things can come out of negative situations. And so I don't know if I ever would have had the courage to fully dive into it had I not lost my job. You know what I'm saying? And had I not been getting rejected interview after interview trying to get back into the sports industry.
Yes.
So had that not happened, I don't know if I would be here right now. So I think that, God used that opportunity in my life for me to continue to go to class and fall in love with acting. And then eventually I was like, yo, this is it. This is my passion. So I'm going to do it. Yeah.
You know what? I am going to share something with you.
Okay, share.
And I want you to maybe it'll help you to kind of rephrase how you said it or whatever. I mean, losing your job, that's fine. I lost my job as well in 2012. And there was a lot of stuff that I was trying to do and wanting to do at the time. Yeah. And, it came a time where, most people say, oh, I got fired. Some people say, oh, I lost my job. But I'll say me, I was released into my blessing.
He was released into his blessing.
Because they had to let me go. Because you know how you hold on to things knowing that they are not necessarily the best for you, but you're in the situation because it's comfortable.
Security.
And then as soon as you are released from that situation, everything else opens up. Whether it's relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's jobs. It gets you to that next place in life. So congrats on being released into your blessing.
I received that. I'm gonna say that next time.
Yeah.
I was released into my blessing.
Released
like
into
that.
your blessing.
Yeah.
So for you, when it came to focusing on acting, focusing on the craft, most people think that they can just, get an audition or get an opportunity and that's it. But for you, what sort of training or technique or learning do you have to take to get you to that acting?
Yeah, so I'm the type of person that when I do something, I gotta go full fledged. I can't do it halfway. So for me, it was immediately finding the best class that fit me. So I started auditing classes. You can, kind of go through classes and see if this is the best fit without, having to commit to paying for months and months or whatever. So I audited a couple classes. One of my homies who was already in the industry as a stuntman, he was trying to transition into acting a little more. So he took me to a class that he was going to. And I ended up staying at that class for 2 years.
So did you learn how to stunt?
I didn't learn how to stunt. No, I didn't learn how to stunt. Okay. But he had already been doing stunts for a long time, but he wanted to do a little more acting. So he was trying to take class as well. So I went to his class, ended up rocking with the coach, and ended up staying with him for like 2 years. So for me, it was all about finding the necessary training to help build the confidence to be able to do the job well. Because like you said, a lot of people just want to show up and get a lead role in a movie and be Denzel, but it's like, yo, it took a lot of work for Denzel to be Denzel, you know what I mean? And so finding the necessary training, finding what works for you, reading the books. There's so much available to us, so many resources, watching as much content as you can, and not to impersonate people, but to learn what to do and what not to do. Watching good acting, watching bad acting, going to plays, and then putting yourself on camera. That's the main thing, because if you want to be an actor, you're going to have to be comfortable being on camera.
Yeah.
So if you don't like the way your voice sounds, you don't like the way you look, you gotta get comfortable with those things. Because if you're not comfortable with those things, you're not confident in that. Why anybody else going to pay you to do that? You know what I'm saying? So it was getting out of my shell and doing those things that were necessary for me to be a confident actor.
So to be a confident actor, do you have to be a confident person?
It's a good question. I think most things in life will be more manageable if you're confident in your ability to do them. But I don't always think confidence has to just be necessarily in who you are. A lot of the confidence comes from the discipline in what you're doing. Like if you're putting in the work, the hours, the time, the effort, the energy, the sleepless, those things build confidence, because it's like I'm spending all my time doing this for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just getting. It's very easy to be self-conscious when that camera comes out, and what's the first thing that people do, if you at a show and you pull your phone out on a friend, they gonna start acting because the camera's up, and you don't want to be acting when you're an actor. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, you don't want to be acting. You want it to be coming from a real place. You want it to be natural, and it takes time and effort and discipline to get comfortable being natural on camera, because you don't want to watch something and be like, yeah, I can tell this is not something that they naturally do. Yeah. Because it looks like they're pretending. Yeah. Acting's not pretending. Acting is
making us believe.
Yeah, being believable under,
Angela Bassett.
Lawrence
Fishburne. I didn't know the man's name was Lawrence. I thought his name was Ike.
His name was Ike. Man was doing that too well.
And you know what? When it comes to the confidence, though, there's a person that that stands out for me, because on TV. This person had the most, the biggest personality, but come to find out in the E True Hollywood Story or whatever it was, documentary, this is one of the shyest people that a lot of people knew. Sherman Hemsley. George Jefferson. What was it? Ernie Fry on Amen. Yeah. He was a very shy person, but you would never know that by what he gives you. And most people, once again, y'all didn't know him by Sherman. You knew him as George Jefferson, because the role that he created, that was created for him, he became that guy. Yeah. So we talked about P-Valley in the beginning. So first of all, whether or not it aired, congratulations on that still being part of the credits.
Yes. my name in the credits now.
Because it's on the resume. So that experience, with that being your first role, first of all, how did you get it? And what was the role that you played?
Yeah, so I got that through my first agent back then. That was my first year of acting. I'd been acting for about 8 or 9 months when I booked that, which was a blessing. I think that was maybe the 4th or 5th time I had auditioned for P-Valley at that point already. But I remember crazy quick story. Like, the audition was terrible. Like, it was bad. It was bad. And I won't say my performance was bad, but like, the main thing when you do auditions, the main thing that the casting director says is make sure the room is well lit so we can see you, make sure the volume is up so we can hear you, make sure it's not too dark so we can, really see your performance. I remember I was driving for Amazon at the time because, when you're an actor, you got to work all these flexible jobs, trying to pay the rent, you know what I'm saying? So I'm driving for Amazon. I remember my agent calls me for the audition. It was about like 5 p.m. that day. I'm not going to be knowing my route till maybe 8 or 9. And she's like, they need this in the next hour. And I'm like, I can't give it to you in the next hour. Like, it's not going to happen. Can you see if they give me more time? She said, get it in by the end of the night. Bet. So I get home. Boom, boom, boom. The only resources I have no setup at my crib at this point. Like, I used to go to my acting coach's house to tape. Wasn't an option that night. So I'm in my room that's very dimly lit. I call my homeboy to be my reader. I hold my laptop up in front of my face with my arm. Like this. I got him on speaker so I can hear him. I do my whole audition like this. It looks terrible. But the next day I get a call. She's like, yeah, you booked it. I was like, huh? I was like, that was one of the worst auditions I've ever done. And I booked a role, but I didn't even book a role. I didn't even book what I auditioned for, though. They gave me some other role. I don't know why, but they gave me some other role. So fast forward, we end up going to shoot. My role that day was an episode that Meg Thee Stallion was a guest star on. Okay. So her character's name was Tina Snow, I believe. My role was called Forehead Autograph. Yeah, Forehead Autograph. Right? Okay. So the scene is she's getting off the bus with Lil Murda. They walking into the club. I'm like off to the side screaming her name like, Tina, I love you, girl. Boom, boom, boom. She come over and sign my forehead, and that's it. We never shot the insert of her actually coming over and signing my head. She signed it before that. We never shot the insert because it kept raining that night. So it was raining on and off that whole night. So we had to keep starting, stopping. So we never actually got around to shooting the insert of her actually signing my forehead. And so I remember we were there till about 2 or 3 in the morning that morning. They ended up sending me home, and I was like, they're not calling me back to do that. Like, I know how this works already. Like, they're not about to pay me another day's work just to come and get my forehead signed. They're either going to get somebody else to do it who's already there, or they're just going to cut it. And that's what they did. So when the episode came out, I was not on it. But I already knew, though.
What's your name in the credits?
My name is in the credits because I booked the job, I booked the role, I did you know what I'm saying? I got the credit. But my face is not seen, which is great because that means I can still be on P-Valley. You know what I'm saying? P-Valley, what's up? Holla at me.
I mean, ain't they still taping the current season?
They are. So I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get me a little role. So, but that's how that happened. That's how that happened. Yeah.
So the next experience for you, what was your next role?
The next thing I booked was Tyler Perry's Bruh. So I did an episode of Bruh where I was on a date with one of the female leads on the show. And that was a great experience too. People always say that Tyler Perry moves very quickly, and I learned that day. I was on set for about 15 minutes. Yeah, I remember I had a 6 a.m. call time that day, and I was done by 11 maybe. You know, hair and makeup, wardrobe, all that type of stuff, sit in your trailer till they come get you. I was actually on set shooting the scene for maybe 15 minutes. We did 2 takes, and that was it. And that was my first time really, like, I kind of count that as my first role for real because that was the first time I actually had to listen and respond to you know, even when you're doing one line, not saying it's not acting, but it's like, it's kind of, you just yelling a line out. Yeah. You're not really having to be present with your partner, having to play off of them. So that was the first time that I really had to do that. And I appreciated that. That was cool. That was cool.
So after that, what was the next one?
The next role after that was, I think it was Judge Me Not. I did a show called Judge Me Not on All Black TV. And that was created by Judge Lynn Toller from Divorce Court. It was loosely based on her life. So I played a coworker / good friend of the male lead on the show. We were mechanics at an auto shop or whatever. So that was really dope too, man. That happened like not too long after the Tyler Perry show. And that was my first recurring role. I did 3 episodes of that show. And I really appreciated that because she's a little older, so she wrote it not really in our current time frame of the way that men speak about women and the way that, men talk to each other. So we were able to kind of improv and change some things on set every day, which was cool. So
you're kind of a writer too.
I didn't even say that. I was saying, the director helped us, gave us the freedom to do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'll be writing a little bit though, a little bit.
So what was it? Complicated?
Complicated Atlanta. That was the next one. Yeah, that was the next one. That was a little different though, because I did book that next, but we kind of shot that over the course of that next year, and I did maybe 2 episodes of that. That was a little different because that production company is based in South Carolina, so there was a lot of back and forth, and I was filming BMF. So
you had those both at the same time.
Yeah, so it was really sporadic with my shooting schedule with Complicated. So it even feels sporadic in my mind as I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
So let's talk about BMF, which is the role that most people would know you from. Yeah. You were in about 9 episodes.
9 episodes.
9 episodes. And they just finished season 3. About 2 months ago.
That was season 3, and then you saying when we finished shooting?
No, not when you guys finished shooting, but we saw season 3.
Oh yeah, that's almost been a year, bro. It came out March 1st of last year. So it went off in May. Yeah.
Why do I feel like I just got done seeing that show?
2024 went by quick. Maybe you think about Ghost?
No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, it's been off since May. Yeah.
And you guys are preparing for season 4.
Yeah, season 4 we shot this past spring, summer. Okay. So that's gonna come out. I don't know when it's coming out.
So let's go back to the beginning of BMF. Yeah. So the call to, I'm assuming, audition for the role.
Yeah. So
now, real quick, prior to the audition, had you already become familiar with the show?
Yeah. So I was already rocking with the show. Okay. Really, really enjoyed the show. Obviously, growing up here, you know a little bit about the story, but you might not know all the ins and outs. So I'm watching the documentary, and then really got into the show, and I was like, man, I would love to be on this show. They film it here. I've been trying to get on, some kind of power related show. So yeah, the audition for Duffy was actually my 8th audition for the show. Wow. So I auditioned for season 1 and 2. And then my first audition for season 3 was Duffy, and that ended up being the one that I booked. That's a crazy story too. I don't know how much time we got for me to tell the story right quick.
Y'all got time? I got time. Tell us about the story.
So I'm gonna keep it brief. But long story short, I told you I personal train. Mm-hmm. So I've been grinding at this time, personal training 6 days a week, 4 a.m. most days. You know what I'm saying? It's a grind. And I'm getting to the point where I'm a little burnt out from it. So I recall going to my boss asking if I can work a few less hours because acting had started to pick up a little bit. I've been booking a couple roles, Complicated Atlanta, Judge Me Not. Those all came in the same month. And I did a Hallmark film that month. I almost forgot about that. I did a Hallmark film. So December was good to me. December 2022 is my month. Booked 3 roles. So I was like, yo, can I work a few less hours? Starting to get, things are starting to get a little crazy in the acting world. I feel like I can't put my full energy into this job right now. So what can we do? I recall talking to a friend about this. She encouraged me to ask the Lord what to do. So I asked God, what do I do? I felt him tell me to write down exactly what I needed from my boss. So I wrote down how many hours I wanted to work and how much money I wanted to make. So the next day, went to work, told him I needed to talk to him, boom, boom, boom. Showed him my little business proposal. He looked at it and said, yeah, I can't do that. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, God, you said that. Wow. I'm like, God, you told me to do this. So I'm being obedient. He said he can't do that. I said, all right, that's fine. He said, I think it's time for us to part ways. I think maybe you should just go focus on the acting thing since that's getting so busy. And I'm like, all right, I'm not tripping. It's whatever. This is February of 2023. 3. So I'm like, all right, we planned on February being my last month. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to be jobless in a few weeks, so I need to figure something out. Now, I had just auditioned for BMF maybe like a few days ago at this point. So it's been a few days since I auditioned for Duffy. Fast forward, a couple weeks go by, I get a call from my agent. She says, hey, BMF called. They want to know your availability. So for what am I trying to say? Just information for y'all if you want to be in the acting world. An availability check is a great thing, but it does not mean you booked anything. It just means they are interested in you. They want to know if you're available for the shoot dates. So I try not to get too excited because I've been here before. I'm like, I've been close to booking a lot of things. So I'm like, avail check is cool, whatever. I'm going to just, keep moving forward. 2 days later, I had auditioned for another show, this show called A La Carte on All Black TV. It's a show that Megan Good produces. Okay. I auditioned for that show, and it was a series regular role, it was a guest star role. I auditioned for that. The director reached out to me and said, hey, we loved your audition. We want you to audition for a series regular role, which is like, this means you acting full time. Like, this is your full time job, one of the main characters on the show. That had been my prayer for the past 2 years. Like, Lord, I really want to make a living off of acting. So I'm like, all right, bet, send it over. Send me the sides. We about to crush it. I get the sides back, and the sides call for me to do something that I'm not comfortable with doing as an actor. Okay. So I'm like, dang, why it always got to be something like this? Like, I was about to get excited. Why I got to be this? So, mind you, when black people say mind you really got to lean in. I'm about to be unemployed in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, yo, I should probably do this audition. But I called my homie and his wife, 2 of my best friends, and I was like, yo, y'all, tell them the situation. I'm like, what should I do? They're like, nah, bro, like, I understand the circumstance, but you got to stay strong, stand firm in your convictions. And I was like, all right, you're right. I'm not going to do it. So I hit them back and say, thank you so much for the opportunity, but I'm going to have to decline the audition based on, the character. They said, we understand, blah, blah, blah. You're still being considered for the other role. I'm like, all right, bet. I remember this was a Wednesday, 3:42 p.m. I remember the exact time. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm reading a book. This is about 30 minutes after I just turned down an audition. I see my phone vibrate. I see a little message that says, BMF booking offer 301. I said, oh, so I just booked BMF. I just booked BMF right after I just turned down an audition that was going to make me compromise my convictions. I said, look at God. I started crying. I FaceTime my homie and his girl. I'm like, yo, I can't believe I just booked it. I'm screaming. I'm running around the apartment like I couldn't believe that I just booked it. Because I didn't have a callback. I didn't have a producer meeting. I just booked it off tape, which is crazy, which doesn't happen all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that long-winded story, I said it was going to be short, but that long-winded story is how I ended up booking BMF.
See, but it's your story. It's a part of the journey. And that just goes to show, to people out there, you don't have to compromise yourself in order to receive the blessings that the Lord has for you. In Jesus' name. Come on now. Snaps up. So we are 9 episodes in of a 10 episode season. Yes. I believe it was. God. So pretty much the entire season. Yeah. What are some of the things being a regular on the show that you got the opportunity to learn?
Man, I mean, for me, coming from a few roles where I just, was on set for a day or two and kind of being thrown into multiple episodes of a show where I really get to grow and build a character, it was a dream come true for me. Being able to be around some seasoned actors who have really been doing this for a long time, people like McCole White and Russell Hornsby, like who I've literally watched them on TV as a kid. Like, that's crazy. And like now I'm on set with them and I'm asking them questions and I'm learning from them. Like, it was just a crazy experience. So I feel like for me so far, BMF has just been a crash course in acting, especially after doing 1 full season and really gaining my confidence in what I can do and learning set etiquette and just, because auditioning is one thing, being on set is a completely different thing. In an audition, you're in the room with your reader. Mm-hmm. On set, on camera, it looked like there's only 2 people in the room. There's really 50 people right behind the monitor watching you. Yeah. Writers, producers, the director. Then there's, 4 camera operators. Like, there's a lot of people in the room. So you really have to hone in on the craft that you've taken the time to build and really be able to focus in those moments, because time is money. You ain't got time to waste. You know what I'm saying? So So I got to learn a lot in that aspect, which was great.
Now, side note, McCole. Now I know she is into music.
She is, yeah.
And I was surprised to see that City Winery here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
She had a show sometime I think it was last year or the year before.
Yeah, I went to her show last year. It was like last summer.
And then she had one recently.
In January, yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
So, like, did she bring that music to the set? Or, like, as far as, like, her different things? Like, when you guys are not filming, like, are you guys sitting there enjoying each other's different crafts?
Yeah, so, like, the way, I mean, I'll say this, I'm a transition. One thing that I love about acting so far is the moments when you're not on camera, because you really get to enjoy people's company. You really get to know them in between takes. This is when we're, asking each other questions. This is when we're listening to music. This is when we're playing spades. Like, we're just getting away from the pressures of being.
You know how to play spades?
Yes.
I don't.
You don't know how to play spades? All right, we gonna. That's crazy.
Whoa, I feel judged.
That's all right. We're gonna skip past that. But I didn't get to be on set with Nicole as much because I don't have any scenes with her, so we would kind of be in passing sometimes. But yeah, I'm sure she would bring that on set with her. And I got to work with Russell a couple times, and because he directed a couple episodes as well, and so he was always singing, scatting, doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just bringing that energy. And so it's cool to see how seasoned actors work in between takes and how they either stay in it, get out of it, jump back in it when they get on camera. Like it's just really cool to see how they work. So yeah.
Okay. Now moving forward, like season 4, not sure when season 4 is coming out, but you said you guys wrapped filming season 4 recently.
Back in July, yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Time be moving. Yeah, it was back in July, yeah.
Damn. So, like, what can we look for as far as progression with your character this coming season?
Great question. So, for my character, you can definitely expect to get to know Duffy a little more. Expect to get more of a deep dive into his background and why he's in Atlanta, and a little bit more about his story. So, they definitely gave me more of a character arc this season, which was really exciting. I got to try some new things. Got to dive a little deeper on who Duffy is. So I'm excited for fans to see that. I'm excited to see it because I ain't even seen it.
So Duffy's a real person.
No comment.
Okay. So over the past couple weeks, I'm not sure, if you were under a rock or if you've had the opportunity to, see social media and the things that have been going on. But recently, 50 Cent, the creator of the show,
50 Cent,
Mr. Curtis Jackson, I believe his name is. He he had posted something that said like the 4th and final season like coming soon for the show. Have you guys heard anything about that?
No comment once again. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna plead the 5th. You feel me? It might be a 5th season, but I'm pleading the 5th. I'm pleading the 5th.
We'll pray that there is.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens.
But I'm not gonna get into it because you guys have been on social media. People see things, people say things, but we don't know until we know. So until then, we're gonna continue to support you and your character.
Thank you,
and hope that
Above
Duffy gets a 5th season.
In Jesus' name, yes, I receive it.
Or a new season on another show. A recurring.
You never know. Oh, yeah.
Recurring role on another show.
Yes, Lord.
So aside from the acting, I had the opportunity, of course, as always, I have conversations with, anybody that I bring on BLK Talk. And music, was one of the things that we got into. And we discovered that there are a lot of similarities and things of that nature. So for you, when it comes to music, where has your inspiration come from?
So main inspiration was me just my memory of riding in the car with my pops as a kid, and he just always playing these old like soul records. Like I have a playlist on Spotify called Cruising with Pops. It's one of my favorite playlists because it's just all songs I remember him playing. And from there, I did my own research, my own discovery, really dove deeper into these specific genres of music from the 60s, 70s, 80s. And so my love for music has really been driven from that point. So, Yeah.
When it comes to like movies and music and how it relates to music and all that good stuff, what are some of the top, let's say the top 4 biopic, whatever you people call it. What are the top 4 for you that kind of connect you to a point in time or specific artist or group? Or
that's tough. I mean, we love the 5 Heartbeats.
Okay.
We love the 5 Heartbeats. That's one that inspired me.
I got nothing but love for you, baby.
Right. What else? I'm trying to think. Specifically a biopic. Why is my mind blanking? Help me out. Name. I know you got something on the top of your head.
I mean, I absolutely do.
You did mention what love got to do with it.
What? Absolutely. That one. For me, The Temptations was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The Temptations thing, and then fast forward, have the opportunity to interview The Temptations, have the opportunity to go to their concert, be invited backstage. Like, that was a full circle moment for me. Like,
damn, why am I drawing a blank right now on specifically the biopics?
So when you're cruising in the car, while you're thinking about that, what are like some of the artists that you listen to? Who is your go-to artist?
I mean, go-to artist of all time is Michael Jackson. I'm just a huge Michael Jackson fan. I think he was just one of the greatest entertainers ever, if not the greatest. I think a lot of music that I love from today, from my generation, was inspired by him.
Absolutely.
Even just his sound, you know what I mean? But I'm throwing on Stevie Wonder. I'm throwing on Luther Vandross. I'm throwing on the Stylistics, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Spinners, the Delphonics. Like, I'm throwing on those old soul groups that really, like, for me, because I'm at heart, I'm a lover boy. Like, I'm very in tune with my emotions. Like, and those men, it was manly back then to talk about how you really love a person and what they were willing to do for that person. It wasn't just all this, over sexualized culture. It was really like, nah, like, I'm really outside my house throwing rocks at your window. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of artists from our generation don't do that. And so I appreciate the artists who really take the time to look inward and really express themselves that way. And not just make music and make records for $1. Because they weren't getting paid that much back then, but they knew how to do everything. They could actually sing.
Yeah.
They could actually write, produce. They did everything themselves, and the craft was really, really important to them. And that's not necessarily the case for everybody in today's culture. So I think that's why I appreciate it so much.
So for you, if you could have done anything else, and I mean, you're young, so, who's to say what is possible these days? But if you could have been born in any year, any decade, what decade would that have been?
I was definitely born in the wrong generation. I got another playlist called Wrong Generation.
I love it.
So I think I would have been born, like, instead of me being born in the 90s, I would have been like a teenager or going into my 20s in the 90s. So I would have been more so of like a 70s, maybe 80s baby. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. So that means you would have been my son's age or something like that, because I would have been born in the 50s. So that I could appreciate and be right there in the 70s.
Right.
Like, I could be grown. I would have gone through ups and downs and love and things like that. So what the Isleys were singing about in 73 or what Aretha was singing about in 68, like, those are things I can be a part of.
Your journey to Atlantis. My God.
You know what? Come on now, on this good voyage. But I mean, it's so much out here. And a few years ago, there was this whole thing where people talking about, R&B is dead, R&B is this. Now, I know what I felt when they used to say stuff like that, but for you, being a connoisseur of great music, what did you feel when you used to hear things like that?
So, I won't say it's dead, because there are a few people who are still doing it the way that it was once done. And I'm not saying that it has to continue to be done the way it once done, because things do evolve and things change. But the essence of R&B, for the most part, the grand scope of it, I think that it's dying. It has been dying. I'm not saying it's dead.
Come on.
It has been dying. yeah, just to go back to what I said before, I just think, and a lot of it is, we can even talk about the economy, and because of it's so expensive for you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get why people want to make money off of their craft. Like, we should want to get paid for those things, but there has to be that passion and that love. Like, that has to be the foundation of why you're doing what you're doing. It can't just be about $1, because we got this TikTok culture, and like, let me find a little viral track to make a bag off of, and that's all I got to do. And I don't really care about how it was made, or the production of it, or how I sound. Like, I just want to be popular and famous. And like, back then they didn't care about none of that.
No, because we didn't know about their lives. We didn't know about any of them until we saw them in the
It was all the conviction that they had of being an artist. You know what I mean?
So is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to tell you what I feel. and that is great. And you are absolutely correct. Now, for me, when people say R&B is dead or was or is or whatever, I say you are a goddamn liar. And the reason that I say that is because the music is there. We're just not looking for it. Like, there are so many artists that are I would say underground, but they're not as popular as the other.
They're not mainstream. They're not
exactly.
Mainstream. Yeah.
Like, back in the day, you know, in the 90s, riding in the car, you could turn on the radio and then Luther Vandross's new song is on there, or Teddy Pendergrass, or somebody that embodied that soul. But nowadays, it's that quick popcorn type of, you know, the new fad type music. That's what's being pushed. But there are so many artists out here, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but Kevin Ross is an artist.
Kevin Ross, I know him.
He's a singer. He's a songwriter. He's written for Tony freaking Braxton. But like, I love his music. That's somebody that's on my playlist. There's a guy, Gene Noble. He is another artist. He came out years ago with a song called Matching Tattoos, and I heard the song. I said, oh, okay. But fast forward, Gene has released quite a few different projects, and he was recently on tour with Usher. He was like one of Usher's background singers. He also is background sung for Sting. So he's been out here doing a lot of things, and there are a lot of other people that are out here. But the thing is, we're just not being exposed to them because they're not being put in our face. So it's there. We just need to, we need to do our job of pushing it. Like, you know, like they used to, hey, did you get that Smokey Robinson album? You know, we need to do stuff like that. You know, send your friend a random, if you're listening to a song that the world does not know because it's not on radio or Spotify or wherever, you know, go ahead while you're listening to it. Send them the link. Let them hear the song. Expose them. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. Whatever it is. You got to expose your people because, you know, I know something that you may not know. You know something that I may not know. We were going back and forth earlier on, and coming soon, we'll talk about that later, on samples of songs. And there were some songs that I was just like, I thought I knew everything. And you taught me something. You know, so because of that, my music vocabulary is now increased. You know, and vice versa. So we all got to do that.
It's a great point.
I ain't gonna lie. If I could be anything else in this world, the Lord knew what he was doing. I don't even know. I'm going to say he knew what he was doing by not giving me a singing voice. Because I would have sang my ass off.
Trying to tell you.
And I don't even throw panties on the stage no more. Like, I thought about that last week. I was with some musician friend of mine, and I was just like, damn, what encourages you guys to, you know, give your all when it comes to singing? You know, most people, they like the crowd participation, but to know somebody gonna throw their drawers up on the stage, you know, that was something for the guys back then because that means they were into you. You know, what is that equivalent nowadays?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a couple bras be thrown on stage at a couple concerts.
But they don't wear them. Like, where did it come from?
I don't know where it came from.
I don't know.
They
but
had it in their purse or something.
You know, I appreciate you because when you walked up, I'm telling you, you look like a piece of Soul Train.
Look, I'm telling you.
I'm like,
if I could have another job, if I was born in another generation, I'm lead vocalist in a boy band. I'm telling you.
You know what?
Yes.
I'm with you on that, and I definitely would have been I would have been like the Otis Williams, like you know, I would have done what I could to keep the group together. You know, my voice may not have been the strongest, or it may have, but I knew my role, and that group was gonna stay together.
Nobody coming to see you.
Regardless. But you know what? I ain't gonna lie though. When I got the opportunity to go backstage to that concert, I heard Otis hitting a little hoo-ha. I'm like, oh, okay. Not bad, sir.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I love it.
But I'm glad to know that there's somebody else out here that loves music.
Appreciates the music. Yes, you gotta appreciate it. Yeah.
So for you, what is next for you? We got, whenever that date is released, we gotta tune in to season 4.
Right.
And hopefully the announcement of season 5. But what else is it that you want to accomplish? Because in your short time acting, you've accomplished some amazing things. Like, you have worked with some names. You have attached yourself to some very big people and powerful people in the industry. So what other things can you see yourself doing?
Man, well, it's a blessing. Thank you for saying that. It's a blessing so far to have only been doing it for a short amount of time and to have had some success so far. So shout out to God on that. Man, I just want to keep showing my versatility. You know, I'm thankful that I've done a drug story already, because that means I don't have to do one again. I don't want to get pigeonholed in that genre, so I want to show, you know, that I can play the sophisticated roles as well, the blue collar, the white collar roles, all those types of things. Let me be a doctor and a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? So I want to show that I can do all of those things. Most recently, I had my first leading role in a short film, where I got to really show my emotional range, which is super dope. I come home and find a tragedy that's happened to my spouse, and so you kind of get to follow my journey as I grieve the loss of her, and that hits home for me, just as a man who very much takes his healing journey serious, and someone who's very much in touch with his sensitivity and emotions, and I think that needs to be seen more on screen for Black men. And so I was really excited to do that project. So that'll be coming out at some point this year too. I don't know no dates. It's coming out at some point this year.
Just be ready.
It's coming out at some point this year.
So what's the name of that?
So that project is called I Will Always Love You. It's called I Will Always Love You. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I shot that back in September. And yeah, my first leading role. So it was really cool to be leading that project. So yeah, you can look forward to that. Season 4 of BMF. Right now you can catch me in the Country Wayne skits. So that's been a lot of fun to do as well. And yeah, I don't know what's next. A lot of times people ask about the dream role, you know what I'm saying? But I really feel like when it comes to dream roles, like, I feel like those things find us. It's not what I'm looking for. I think based on where I am in my life, when that role comes around, it could feel like a dream role, you know, because that's what BMF felt like.
Well, let's say dream collaboration. If there's an actor or an actress that you have always seen, always appreciated, respected, and if given the opportunity, you would work with them, who would that be?
It's a great question. I mean, big fan of Mr. Denzel Washington. I would love to, of course, be in scenes with him, but I would love to be directed by him, because he's been doing, you know, he's been on this side of the camera for so long. I know he has so much knowledge from that aspect, but he also has done some directing, and just his eye for storytelling. Like, I would love to be directed by him. And guess who you named earlier? Angela Bassett. Let me be in something with Auntie. Yeah. I'm trying to be in something with Auntie, man. I've been watching her my whole life. Like, you know, I'm trying to, I would love to work with her. Like, really, they're really like the pillars of Black excellence in this industry. Like, they've been doing it for so long, and they've done it well. And they stayed out of trouble.
Drama free.
They stayed out of trouble. They stayed down with their spouses. Like, you ain't never heard no controversy or nothing. I'm sure they're great to work with, and they've really inspired me even before I knew I wanted to act. Like, they were just always actors who were captivating to watch on screen because they're believable. Like, you forget that you're watching somebody act. You're just like, yo, they really that person. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I agree. And I appreciate, like, where Denzel is now. That man has done 573,000 films since 1983. And recently, I think it was The Piano Lesson.
Yeah, he produced that.
So you got Samuel L. Jackson that's starting. But you have John David, his son. Denzel's son, who also starred in it. Yeah. And then you have, I think his name is Malcolm. Who is Denzel's son, who
directed it.
Exactly. And then you got Denzel, who was a part of it as well. You know, so that was amazing to see, that they're passing the baton.
It's a legacy, man. It's a legacy.
I ain't gonna lie. I've seen it, here and there, but not all together. And I don't know if the good Lord can make this happen for little old me. I want a movie with Morgan Freeman, Denzel. They've already done one together.
Glory.
Yes, glory. Exactly. I want Sam in there together with them. I want Angela in there some kind of way. I want Alfre Woodard.
She cold too.
Because I feel like those, Cicely Tyson, passed when she was like 95, 96 years old. And she done some amazing things. But as our very veteran, seasoned actors get on in age, I want to see something with all of them where it just, it just brings all of that greatness on screen together.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Now we can sprinkle a few new ones, like
right,
you know
what I'm saying?
like,
like,
he could play the son, the grandson.
Let me do something, the nephew. Come on.
But I definitely want to see something like that. Now, when it comes to other actors that are out here, who is it that you see now that you're like, I can see longevity in this particular actor?
Someone I really enjoy watching is Lakeith Stanfield, man. He is, he's a very interesting actor to me. For me, like from an audience perspective, I like watching interesting acting. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of good actors who do their job, just like any other job. It's like, you did a good job. Like, you're acting. But like there's people who make interesting choices and choose interesting roles that are really challenging. Because with art, it's like you don't ever know what the end result's actually going to be, right? Like a lot of times we see bad movies and we're like, why would they make that movie? But I'm like, I'm sure it looked a lot different on script. Like they didn't, you don't really know, and you don't have that much control over who the writer and the director is. Like someone who wrote the script might direct it completely different than another director who came in to direct the script did, So a lot of times with art, I try not to judge the movie too harshly because you just have no control over that. But as far as the story being interesting and the actor making interesting choices, like sometimes with Lakeith, I'm just like, I don't know why he took that role. Like that's a weird movie or that's a weird TV show or this wasn't what I expected. But he's one of those actors that just doesn't seem afraid to take risks. Yeah. And that's what I respect because it's hard to take risks in art. You know what I mean? It can be hard because in today's society especially, it's like everything lives forever. Yeah. So you do something and it's not good, like ain't nobody forgetting that, And so I respect those actors who aren't afraid to try new things and them fail because the really, really good ones, they're going to find something else anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I respect his craft because he seems to take it very seriously. And he's had some interesting roles so far. So he's done a little bit of everything. Like to see him be in Atlanta and then also watch him do the
Sorry to Bother You.
That movie ended. I was like, huh?
Yeah. Now, when you were talking about like taking interesting roles, that was the movie that immediately came to mind.
That and then he did this show on Apple TV called The Changeling, which was really interesting.
I haven't seen that.
That show was weird. Get Out was great, and then Judas and the Black Messiah. So he's just done like a lot of different things to show his versatility, and so I respect the actors who show that they could really do more than one thing. Because a lot of times, there's great actors who have really kind of stayed in one lane their whole career, which is like ain't no shade or nothing. Like if you find what works for you, they're gonna keep paying you to do that thing. Why not keep doing it? Yeah. But I do respect when actors are like, I want to try, like, I'm going to say no to the comfortable roles and I'm going to try different things and see what beauty we can make. And sometimes it don't work out, but I respect the effort.
So I wish you many, many, many more years. And hopefully this conversation, when it comes to the acting, when it comes to the connection on the music, this is first of many because, in 10 years when we're celebrating your leading role, whether it's in Atlanta Wood or ATL Wood, whatever they call it, or Hollywood, wherever it is, the goal is to, be there to celebrate you.
Yes, I received that.
Because, we have to support each other. So, I'm happy that you decided to come on and have this conversation. I wish you much success in everything that you are doing. So do me a favor and let the people know where they can watch you, where they can connect with you, and where they can see everything you have coming up.
Yeah, so social media, TikTok and Instagram, you can follow me at Terry Allen Now, hold up now. On Instagram, Allen has 3 L's because the 2 was taken. On TikTok, it got 4 L's because the 3 was taken.
What?
So it's a little, you know what I'm saying? It's a little.
Let's make sure. Let's go ahead.
So it's Terry Allen, Allen, but you got the 3 L's on Instagram, the 4 L's on TikTok. I hate it had to be that way. But that's where you can find me on social media. If you want to check out some of my work, you can see me on Starz Network, BMF, All Black TV. I did a show called Judge Me Not that you can check that out. If you like Hallmark, great family network, you feel me? I did a Hallmark movie a few years ago called A Nashville Legacy. I believe that's still on Peacock. And
I'm gonna go watch that before my nap.
And then what else? Oh, you can catch me on BET Plus on Tyler Perry's show, Bruh, season 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. Like I said, I really appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I thank you guys for tuning in to another conversation on BLK Talk. And I look forward to bringing you somebody great the next time. But until then, make sure you guys support and follow Terry Allen, the one and only.
Thank y'all.